This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Hot, steamy day in the Midwest here in St. Louis. It's game number 3, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That's Brad Thompson, and Jim Hayes is with us as well. Cardinals get a well-pitched game in Game 1 and Game 2, and now look ahead to Game number 3. Adam Wainwright was supposed to go in 1. He'll go today, and Zach Greinke going for the Diamondbacks, and a couple of guys that know what they're doing when they're on the mound.
It's got a chance to be a really fun one here. Adam Wainwright has thrown the ball extremely well, especially the last 5 outings. Adam has been great. The 1-2 regular ERA just above 3. The problem has been the run support. Hasn't got a ton of help. Runs haven't been easy to come by in this series either. That's going to be the big-time difference. But Adam Wainwright has given his team a chance to win day in and day out.
Look at the resume of these two right-handers, Adam Wainwright, Zach Greinke. Adam, 4 finishes in the top 3 for the Cy Young. Zach Greinke, it seems like he's always in the conversation for the Cy Young. You played with him. This guy is awfully tough.
He really is, and he's a student of the game. He's smart. This is going to be well pitched on both sides.
Coming up, across the street we go, Ballpark Village, and our Fox Sports Midwest studios. A shakeup in the Cardinals rotation. The guys will talk about that. It's Game 3 and baseball coming. St. Louis, will he get a save opportunity today? It's Carlos Martinez at Arquilla. Give it everything. Sensational in the back end of the pen. 2 for 2 in save opportunities. His last 5 outings, 7 innings, no runs. And look at the strikeouts. He's got 10 of them and only 2 walks. A weapon in the back end for St. Louis. A tough test today, though. Zach Greinke, Adam Wainwright. Game 3, Cardinals, Diamondbacks. First pitch. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. We're in St. Louis, hot, steamy summer day, and that's the giveaway, and that's useful, especially for that youngster. Protect your head, your face, upper body, lower body, everything.
Whole body.
Yeah. That's the giveaway from Brown and Crouppen, the straw hat. With Brad Thompson and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 89 degrees, but down on the field, we were there earlier. It is steamy here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals, with the win last night, begin play at 500. They're 45-45. They're 3 games back. Milwaukee, game and a half out. Then Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. So a tight NL Central race, and the Cardinals will go back in the Central tomorrow as Andrew Knizner will get the start behind the plate today. The backup catcher still in search of his first major league hit. And remember, he was behind the plate with Adam Wainwright on that really fun game to watch and be a part of against the Chicago Cubs.
It was the beginning of June, and these two navigated through 8 innings together, only 2 hits in that ball game. And after the ball game, Adam Wainwright praised Knizner, how they were on the same page, didn't have to shake him off. So these two have worked together in the past. Knizner caught him during some of his rehab as well. So this should be a very good relationship here between Adam Wainwright and Andrew Knizner.
It's a High Sox Sunday, and Adam, he's got the High Sox rolling on this Sunday afternoon. His record 5-7, as Brad pointed out during the open. Recently, last 5 starts, only 4 runs of support. But he's really given the Cardinals a chance to win many games.
Well, that's all you can ask for. Look, every time out he's getting deeper and deeper into ball games. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Adam Wainwright. Fastball, lots of curveballs, the slider and the changeup. And I love the way that he utilizes the arsenal. We're going to see this on both sides, not just Adam, but with Zach Greinke on the flip side. You don't have to throw 95, 96 mile an hour in this game to be effective. You got to mix it up. You got to pitch. We got a chance to see a clinic on both sides today.
Torey Lovullo, in his 3rd season, manager of the Diamondbacks, picked up an extension in January, and he signed through 2021. And a look at his lineup. Some changes today, which happens many times on a Sunday afternoon and a getaway day. Tim LeCastro, the left fielder, this afternoon. Ketel Marte, the switch hitter. Eduardo Escobar, also a switch batter. Christian Walker, Adam Jones, Alex Avila, Nick Ahmed, then Vargas, a switch hitter, and Zach Greinke. Do not overlook Zach Greinke. He has 3 home runs this year and batting .262. And 3 home runs in 2019, and Greinke with a career 9 home runs. So 1 through 9 today. Tough test for Adam Wainwright. The first pitch, a strike to LeCastro, his first start in this series. He was drafted out of Ithaca College. Last couple of seasons, he was in the Dodgers organization. Diamondbacks made the deal to bring him to Arizona. He's hitting .236, no home runs, has driven in 12, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You see how close he is to the plate. No stranger to getting hit 13 times already this year.
And tried to lean in and get hit there. Instead, he takes a call, 3rd strike. Old Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie's good to go after 10 days of rest. This one here just spins in, catches the inside corner. Got him looking away, and not going to happen. Great start for Adam Wainwright today.
Here's Ketel Marte. Adam Wainwright is getting a ton of called 3rd strikes, not necessarily swings and misses. And what it's telling you, to your point, not throwing hard, but still he's got guys off balance and guessing.
Yeah, it just tells me he's setting up hitters so well. And that's what pitching is. It's a guessing game. It's back and forth.
And it's back to Wainwright for out number 2. And there's a different look to Wainwright here in this first inning.
He looks really good right now. Just getting that in on Marte. Looks confident.
Cardinals defense with O'Neill in left. He drove in 4 last night. Then Bader in center, Fowler in right, Carpenter, Munoz, Wong, Goldschmidt on the infield. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Andrew Kisner behind the plate. I mean, he is getting the ball and going. I love seeing that. That's projecting confidence. And your defenders are on their toes, and guys are into the game, and we are too. This is Eduardo Escobar, the switch hitter for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Curveball and a beauty.
Just got a feel right now for everything. You know, that was a question coming into it. 10 days off, had dealt with the back issue, the spasms that had him, not start Friday, had to be pushed back. You wondered how he'd look. Would he have a feel for things? Yeah, so far so good.
Look how he's staring in even to get the sign from Andrew Kisner. Like, here you go. You ready? And who knows how the game will play out, but you have to like the body presence and language right now of Adam Wainwright. It sets the tone in a game. Escobar's last 16 games, big numbers. 3 doubles, triple, couple of homers. And he takes that pitch in the dirt to even it up at 2-2. It's a good player. And they're without David Peralta, who was a former Cardinal pitcher. And so Escobar is at 3rd base and manning the 3rd spot in this lineup. And that's a big loss for the Diamondbacks right now. No Peralta.
It really is. But when you have a loss, you have to have others step up. Certainly the Cardinals have had that conversation with Marcell Ozuna coming out. And Escobar's been one of those guys. Had a career year last year, already on pace to surpass all of those numbers. It's huge to have that.
The 2-2. He got him. Couldn't pull the trigger at the plate. A called 3rd strike and 2 strikeouts for Wainwright. Chest out. Fist a little pumping. He feels it. Cardinals need to feel some offense and get it going. Top of the lineup coming up. Well, he's still a part of the action, always. What a great shot that from Tom Mee. All the hats are out, and why not? It is a hot, sunny day here in St. Louis. Tom Mee, our longtime director of Cardinals baseball. The lineup: Carpenter, Munoz, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Fowler, Wong, Kisner, Bader, and Wainwright. And Zach Greinke, he's now 35 years old, from Orlando, Florida. He's had a tremendous career. And again, another solid season here with Arizona. First pitch, hit out of play. What does he feature? A little bit of everything. Hyundai pitch arsenal.
It is. It's fastball, changeup, slider, curve. Not afraid to use any of them in all different counts. Gets tons of swing and misses under the zone. Just a great pitcher. We saw Adam in the first inning working it, mixing it up. You're going to see the same thing from Greinke.
0-2 on Matt Carpenter. Cardinal leadoff hitters. Pregame show talked about it. They're hitting just 199 collectively. And no team has had their leadoff hitters bat below 200 for an entire season since all the way back to the 2001 Orioles.
It's kind of hard to win like that. You know, you got to be able to have somebody setting the table.
And the 0-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter, taken outside. He's hitting 145 leading off a game. So, you know, when you want to set a tone and you want your leadoff man to be, you know, a guy that's a table setter, it's just not getting done right now.
And look, this right now used to be an area of strength, and it can be again, but with 2 strikes, Carpenter would talk about it. He loved hitting with 2 strikes. He'd battle. He's chasing a lot recently.
Puts the ball in play, and it's into the shift, hustling down the line, and the out. Toyota, key to the game.
Well, the key today against Zach Greinke is don't miss. And what that means is he's not going to give you too many pitches to hit. Drivable pitches in an at-bat. If you get one, can't foul it off. You can't let it go. You've got to be able to put a good rip on it because he's not going to repeat the same pitch over and over for you to crush.
That ground ball fielded by Nick Ahmed on the second base side of the shift there with Carpenter, and here's Jairo Munoz. It's a day off for Paul DeJong, much deserved. DeJong has played a lot of baseball for St. Louis this year, along with Paul Goldschmidt, and that very much a demanding position at the major league level. Shortstop, physically and mentally.
It is for sure.
Greinke has won a couple of ERA titles. He did that in 2009 with Kansas City, 2.16. In 2015 with the Dodgers, it was 1.66. And at this day and age of baseball, that's incredible. And he's a guy that is a master out there. He'll take his time. Former top pick of the Royals all the way back in 2002. He's been an All-Star 6 times. He was an All-Star this year, but elected not to go for personal reasons. He can field his position in a Gold Glove in 5 straight seasons. Third pitcher to win the award 5 times in a row since its inception, which was back in 1959. The other 2, Greg Maddux and 1 Bob Gibson. And for folks that maybe missed it last night, made the announcement that Bob is battling pancreatic cancer, and sent a word to the other Hall of Famers that he would not be in Cooperstown this year. And Bob, I know you're watching. Would love you, and we want to see you back here on opening day, and I know we will. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball taken at third. Escobar, 2 outs. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. LeCastro in left, Marte in center, and Jones in right. Escobar, Ahmed, Vargas, Walker on the infield, Avila behind the plate. And it brings in Paul Goldschmidt. Signed a 5-year, $130 million extension. That'll keep him with the Cardinals through 2024. And his age 37 season after being traded from Arizona.
And we all know it's the key to the offense. Looking for his first hit against his former club here.
Cardinals tried to re-sign Jason Hayward. They went after Giancarlo Stanton. He vetoed a deal that would have sent him to St. Louis, and we forget about that. It's a kind of deal with Goldschmidt that is very reminiscent of McGuire, Edmonds, Scott Rowland, bringing guys to St. Louis, get them to the atmosphere of playing here in the organization. And the thought at the time was get him to opening day. Well, it didn't even take that long, and they signed him in spring training.
Yeah, it worked out well, certainly contractually, and I truly believe this trade is going to look great. The contract's going to look great, but definitely got to get it going.
Diamondbacks lost Patrick Corbin in free agency, signed with the Nationals. Nationals, one of the hottest teams right now in baseball. A.J. Pollock signed with the rival Dodgers, and Goldschmidt traded to the Cardinals. And the 1-2 pitch. Goldschmidt, while in Arizona, was a monster there. All-star the past 6 seasons, averaged 149 games the last 7. So he's always out there, always healthy. 299 average, 29 homers a year, 299 the batting average, and 91 walks. And the 1-2 pitch. Breaks his bat out to left field, and it drops in. And the Cardinals have their first hit of the afternoon, and that's his first hit against his former team.
I think Paul Goldschmidt needed that one. Certainly the Cardinals need a little bit of momentum getting going in this game, put some pressure on Zack Greinke. This one gets in. They're trying to get in the kitchen. We've seen a lot of teams do that to Paul Goldschmidt here recently. The fastball's in. He pulls the hand, shatters the bat, and gets things going here.
In steps Tyler O'Neill. Second home run of the season last night. Hit safely in 6 of the last 8. Scored in 3 straight games. Drove in 4 last night. Kubota power stats the first 29 games, and then last night matching that total of the first 29. Kubota power stats. Shift on the left side. Short lead at first. A 73 mile-an-hour breaking ball. Preston Dobbs, the Make-A-Wish kid that was here last night, told us in a commercial break, you know, Tyler O'Neill said he was going to hit a home run for us. We said, what? Well, he hit one. We got to get the ball. And those two hooked up after the game. Jim Hayes did a tremendous job making sure that he found the family with the ball and then got Tyler to sign it. Those two hooked up, and that's pulled inside the third baseline, down into the corner. Goldschmidt all the way from first, being waved in. O'Neill back at it again. 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, it was a shattered bat by Paul Goldschmidt that got it started, and this time it's one on the inner half. He's able to just hook, keep straight here, keep it fair, and keep him on the board. Tim LeCastro, the left fielder, waiting for a little different carom. Thought it was going to kick off the wall. It doesn't. Good base running, good piece of hitting, and look, teams have not been able to get to Zack Greinke early in ball games. It's huge right now.
So the last 3 hits for O'Neill have been run scoring, extra base hits. Double that scored 2, the 2-run homer, and now an RBI double here in game 3. 1-0 Cardinals. Here's Dexter Fowler. Jim Hayes, by the way, does a lot of work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation and MCs some events, and want to make sure that Jim gets his proper due along with the family last night, but did a really nice thing. And Preston, great job as well. That's way outside, and 2 balls and no strikes. And I got a text from the Make-A-Wish people this morning, and they said that Preston wanted to make sure that the family from Iowa that gave him the ball, he didn't get a chance, I don't think, to meet them. He said, will you please acknowledge them and make sure that I'm so appreciative. So make sure, if you know that family, Preston is awfully appreciative and happy this morning. That's fouled back.
Pretty special night at the ballpark, wasn't it?
It was awesome. 2 balls, 1 strike. O'Neill, your runner at second base. And Fowler takes a ball outside. 3-1. Colton Wong on deck. Greinke broke into the major leagues as a Royal, but the Diamondbacks, surprisingly, his 5th team for a guy that can be as dominant as anybody. Signed with the Diamondbacks in December of 2015, and the deal was worth 6 years, $205 million.
Woo! That's good money if you can get it, Dan.
Big time.
You know what? And look, the numbers are there, certainly there this year. He's been one of the best in the game.
What was he like as a teammate? You two were together in Kansas City.
Yeah, well, a lot like he still is, even though he had more raw stuff. I played with him in 2010. A student. I mean, he's digging in. He loves the numbers. Somebody that is very hard on himself. Like, the little details are certainly never overturned when it comes to Zach Greinke. He's always just figuring out ways to get better and better. He's great at playing that cat and mouse game that we talked about earlier.
And he strikes out Fowler. First strikeout for Zach Greinke, but a 2-out double. Tyler O'Neill to bring in Goldschmidt. 1-0. Key up where he left off last night. 2-out RBI double into the left field corner to score Goldschmidt from first. 1-0 our score. And the batter is Christian Walker. And let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, as you were saying, what a night it was last night for Make-A-Wish kid Preston, for Tyler O'Neill, and really for anyone who was watching the story unfold last night. Preston is battling brain tumors, had that one wish to meet some Cardinals. He did. Tyler O'Neill told Preston he tried to hit a homer for him in the bottom of the 3rd. He did just that. Tyler told me it felt great to give back to a really good kid who's been through so much. We got the home run ball, and Tyler signed it and gave it to Preston after the game. Preston told me, I never expected anything like this. Preston was awesome, so was Tyler O'Neill. And Dan, thanks to the folks at Make-A-Wish for making it happen. The work that they do is just amazing. And a shout out to the Lutenegger family from Iowa. We will be sending them 3 autographed Harrison Bader baseballs. That's the family that gave up the Tyler O'Neill home run. Didn't want anything in return, but we're going to send them the Harrison Bader autograph balls because their kids like Harrison Bader, Dan.
And Jimmy, I don't mean to embarrass you. I'm not trying to do that. As there's a ground ball to Goldschmidt. A flip to Wainwright. You do a lot of work with that group, the Make-A-Wish folks. And Brian Miller was here from Make-A-Wish last night. And you do it unsung. You do it behind the scenes with the right reasons in mind, and you're to be commended. I know it was a lot of work in past events, but last night you made it extra special, and you're to be commended.
Dan, think about this. Like everyone, we drive to the ballpark, there's traffic. We're complaining about it. It's too hot. It's too cold. The power went out for 10 minutes. These are kids that are battling life and death situations every day, and they do it with a smile on their face. They do it with courage, and they're asking one wish to come meet some Cardinals. Yeah, you better believe I'm with Make-A-Wish every step of the way.
You got it. Nice stuff, Jimmy. Here's Adam Jones batting .258, 13 home runs. He's driven in 44. Cardinals with the 1-0 lead as we play here in the top of the 2nd. Good pitch running in on the hands of Jones. I'm sure, Brad, every general manager or president of baseball operations, if they're being honest, and you went to them and you said, man, is there that one deal that bothers you? Is there one deal that, boy, you got duped? You want it back. It didn't work out. And you're being honest. All of them have one.
Yes.
If not many, that just don't work out. And watching this matchup here, I'm thinking about the Mariners with Adam Jones. Traded by the Mariners to the Orioles. It was a 7-player deal. And the main piece going back was Eric Bedard. And that's no offense to Eric Bedard. He pitched in the major leagues.
Had a good career.
Nice career, lefty. And then Adam Jones exploded on the scene in Baltimore. Now, if I'm John Schuerholz and I'm watching Adam Wainwright and I'm saying, are you kidding me?
Dang it.
This guy's still doing it? Come on. J.D. Drew? We had him for 1 year. And it was Uncle Charlie who was the piece that Walt Jocketty and John Mozeliak really wanted. And when the deal was made, and we talk about it a lot, you know, what a great deal it was for St. Louis. Walt initially went to Schuerholz and the Braves front office and said, we want Adam Wainwright. He's got to be a part of the deal. Adam, as many know, from Georgia, grew up a Braves fan, was a top pitching prospect, and apparently John and his group walked out of the room. It was in the offseason when teams would meet, come together, and he walked out. And then he came back in. And then the deal was done.
Well, if you come back in, it's on.
Yep.
It's go time. There's leverage there.
And the Braves felt that J.D. Drew would be a guy they'd bring to his home state, be able to re-sign him, and was a piece that would get them over the hump. A fun story as a side to that, Adam was telling me this not too long ago. He got a phone call. His phone's ringing. He's with his now wife, Jenny, then girlfriend. And she said, well, who is that? And he said, well, I just got traded. But don't worry about that, because the main reason I'm here is to find out if you'll marry me. And that was part of that conversation with Adam Wainwright and his now wife, Jenny. 5 children, and have done so much in St. Louis and abroad. And Adam will have his charitable event tonight. And you can find out more at bigleagueimpact.org. And what an impact he's made in this community.
Yeah, no kidding. You're right. One that got away, and he might be a Georgia boy, but St. Louis is home.
One of my all-time favorites, Adam Wainwright. Fox Sports Go. Take us wherever you may be this summer. Traveling around the country. Kids games, doesn't matter. Download the app and you can watch Cardinals baseball anywhere. The hats are out in full force, and I don't blame them.
These things are sweet.
Yeah.
You were rocking yours earlier. It looked good.
Yes, I was. Matter of fact, I may have to put it on right now. Here's Colton Wong. And Wong, a base hit to left field. Love how he's taken the ball the other way this year.
Well, and it's just he's doing it recently, and it's knowing your pitcher. Zach Greinke stays away from lefties until he gets to 2 strikes. Then he tries to come in. This one's away. Well, why try to pull it? Let's just get something going. He's able to crank one right through the hole, and the Cardinals got something started.
Here's Andrew Knizner looking for his first major league hit. And the first pitch is strike. Baseball, a funny game where guys can start at one position and then move to another. Andrew Knizner, college at NC State, an infielder, then moved behind the plate. And Zach Greinke, a former shortstop, and that's grounded foul, and it's 0-2. What do you think?
Well, I think it's very difficult to have these on with a headset, but they're nice hats.
Really nice.
Really nice.
Really nice.
And you know, shade is my friend. So
well, you're such a tan guy, you know. I mean,
yeah.
We were able to get Brad from under a rock to do this game today.
It was comfy under there.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Wong picked off and tagged out, and that's the first out here in the home half of the second inning, and that's the second base runner in this series that's been picked off. Jairo Munoz was a pinch hitter in the second game and picked off.
Well, the hat didn't help there. Maybe I should take it off.
Yeah, wasn't lucky. Just caught him leaning. Zach Greinke he's got good moves anyhow, but this was more of a Colton Wong thought he saw the tell that he was going to the plate. Wasn't happening. Zach's really good at that aspect of the game, as well as holding the baseball, varying the looks.
It's a good athlete. There's no question about that. And when Greinke was in high school, he was a shortstop and a power hitter. And the reality is he became a pitcher by accident, experimenting to see if his strong throwing arm as a shortstop could make him a good pitcher. Well, I think we got the answer. Trevor Rosenthal was found that way too.
Throwing 96 across the diamond. Yeah, no, you're right. Even in spring training, I mean, Zach would go out there with the infielders and takes every at bat ridiculously serious. I mean, he's an all-around player.
Second strikeout for Zach Greinke. Cardinals baseball is always live with MLB at bat. Follow the action with game tracking, video highlights, up to the moment stat standings, breaking news, and more. Download MLB at bat today. It's your #1 app for Cardinals baseball. So drafted in 2002. Brian Bullington was the first overall pick that year by Pittsburgh. Then Tampa Bay had Melvin Upton. Christopher Gruller went to Cincinnati. Adam Lowen, left-handed pitcher, Baltimore, also a hitter. Clinton Everts, Montreal had him 5th overall. And then one Zach Greinke. And Greinke, when he was drafted by Kansas City and made a rapid rise through their minor league system, when he got to KC, he actually lived with Hall of Famer George Brett.
Well, that's a great way to break into the league, isn't it? Be around one of the best.
And a fly ball into right. Jones with the catch. And Bader retired. After 2, St. Louis on top. Connection to the game. Reds win 17-9. That's not the story. 5 triples, 3 homers. First major league team in the modern era to do that. Minnesota keeps on winning. 58 wins, tied for most in the AL with the Yankees and Astros. And Mike Trout, 30th home run of the season last night. Angels 9-2 win. That's the quickest ever for Mike Trout to get to 30, and he just gets better and better. How does that happen?
I don't know, but he doesn't appear to be slowing down at all. And seriously, and we talked about this a lot when the Angels were in town. I mean, that was Albert here. It is that path where it just looked like every single year, every game, there was going to be something that he got better at, and you expected something great to happen. And man, Mike Trout has paid off.
It'll be Ahmed, Vargas, and Greinke. Also a little history for Christian Yelich last night. Fastest player in Major League history to reach 20 steals and 30 home runs in a season. 93 games he did that. He and Cody Bellinger will be in that conversation for MVP. And it's 2 balls and no strikes on Nick Ahmed.
Kind of a 2-horse race there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Ahmed lifts it into center for a base hit. It's now a career high 15 games on base in a row. Had a single in the 2nd inning last night and a single to start the 3rd here today.
Sometimes you're going to throw a good pitch and somebody gets a hit. I mean, that was the case right there. This is a cutter. It's 85. It's down. It's away. And Ahmed just stays back, serves it out there.
It's the first hit allowed by Adam Wainwright. Ildemaro Vargas, a switch hitter, getting the start today at second base, hitting just .207 against right-handed pitching. Carpenter in on the grass down at 3rd, and this really changes what you might do at the 8th place batter because of a guy like Greinke on deck. You know, normally you're saying, well,
I would never bunt in a situation with the pitcher on deck because my pitcher will be out number 2. But in this case, he's a viable threat to come to the plate and tie the game up or put you on top.
Yeah, it at least expands your options. And I think as a manager, you love having that ability to just know that your pitcher can handle it. Now, I still think that I would let my position players swing away. I'm going to trust Vargas still more in this situation. But, man, it's a luxury knowing that the 9 hole is not an out.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Vargas actually was signed by the Cardinals as an international free agent all the way back in 2008. Released in March of 2015. And all that time he was with St. Louis in the system. Signed by the Diamondbacks in May of 2015. He played 30 games for Bridgeport in the Atlantic League, which is independent baseball. And that's grounded to Goldschmidt, and he'll at least get the out. Stepping on the bag at first. And it brings in Zach Greinke.
Dan, speaking of the Atlantic League, did you see that they had their first stolen first base last night?
I did, and maybe you can explain how that works.
Well, the Atlantic League has been tinkering with some of the rules. There have been a lot of different ones. The first league to use the electronic strike zone, but another rule they've implemented in the second half is essentially the same rule that you have right now with a drop third strike. If it kicks away, you go. Well, you have the ability right now to do that in any pitch, in any at-bat. If it gets away from the catcher, you go. And if you commit as a runner, you're committed. And they had the first one. It's kind of a testing ground right now, the Atlantic League is, for Major League Baseball and different things that they'd like to implement.
I'm good with standard baseball in that regard.
To me, it's like a lot of things. It looks good on you, you know. You go ahead and tinker. You go ahead and try that.
You know, the Atlantic League talked about moving the mound back at one point.
A lot of pushback. But, yeah, they were going to move it back 2 feet.
Now, my understanding with the electronic strike zone and when they had that and are using it, as you mentioned, players actually liked it, number one. Number two, there were the biggest thing that they took away from it is that the high strike was being called. So the letter strike up in the zone, which you don't see very often in today's game. And there it is down in the zone, 2-1 at the knees. But Major League Baseball, and Rob Manfred has talked about this, and I've talked to John Mozeliak about it. It's still not perfect, is what I hear, is that the technology is close but not quite perfect with the strike zone. And there's a ground out. I would imagine that when it is, it's going to be implemented in Major League Baseball.
I mean, it very well could be. I guess, look, what is perfect? I mean, the current system's not perfect. I still like the human element, honestly. As much as we'll complain and whine about a zone being bad, these umpires overall do an incredible job. But look, you're always trying to push the game, and just to your point about the high strike being called, well, if you want pace of game, that's going to do it for you a little bit. That'll speed things up. If you call the strike zone as if it's supposed to be called in the rule book, which we just don't see, that'll do it.
LeCastro, as you mentioned, now hit for the 14th time as he leans in. He loves to be hit by a pitch, and he stands on the plate.
Dorn, grab a bat and lean into one. There he is. I mean, he's right in there, got that elbow pad out there, and steals himself a bag.
Well, Dorn would have been on the ground.
Dorn, get out of here.
Yeah. But not LeCastro. Here's Ketel Marte. So 14 hit by pitches. 15 career hit by pitches and 146 plate appearances. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Ron Hunt was the all-time leader for many, many years. Ron living just outside of St. Louis. And then it was Don Baylor and Craig Biggio hit by pitch. 2 outs and 2 on.
Biggio was right on the dish.
And so was his elbow pad.
Well, and the problem was, too, if, I mean, you're not worried about hitting a guy when you go in, but if you didn't get it in to the point where it was going to hit him, he could crush the baseball.
Right.
He was so fast with his hands.
Marte grounded back to Wainwright his first time up. Big happy 61st birthday to Roger Duffy. Roger is here taking in the game. Happy birthday to Roger Duffy. And the 0-1 pitch. Curveball missed outside. The umpires, CBA, their contract, if you will, or their agreement with the league is up at the end of the year. And umpires say they're not concerned about an electronic strike zone because you still need somebody behind the plate. So it would not be eliminating jobs, and then you'd have another umpire up in the press box, if you will, watching, and this is how they did it in the Atlantic League, watching the strike zone, the automated strike zone, and that tells them ball or strike, and they've got an earpiece down to the home plate umpire, and he calls it immediately.
Yeah, and they just had the Atlantic League All-Star game, and they had an umpire behind the plate, and he's still back there, and he's calling the ball and strike. And they had during the game that the system went out for about a half an inning, so he has to still jump back in. So it's still important, certainly, to have the umpire there for the play at the plate, but also, you know, in case technology fails, anybody with a smartphone knows that that can happen from time to time.
Yes. And the 2-1 pitch to Ketel Marte. Runner goes, and it's hit down the right field line, yanked foul. Marte with 4 stolen bases this year. And Castro running at first base. He's got 7. Kisner, by the way, has thrown out 23 of 50 would-be base stealers. That's 46%. Into center. Kisner, by the way, leading all AAA catchers. 23 caught stealing. Not bad at all. Diamondbacks strand a pair. And the championships are coming up. That's a Saturday, July 27th. Cardinals.com/promotions, part of the 2004 reunion weekend. Many thanks to Brown and Crouppen for sponsoring our hat giveaway. And I'd like to personally thank Terry Crouppen for his wonderful Super Bowl spots. As Wainwright yanks one foul. Terry, I think you hit it on the head. And I'm right there with you concerning some of the issues with football here in this town. Wainwright, Carpenter, and Munoz here for St. Louis. 1-0 Cardinals. So you've got 2 of the better hitting pitchers in the game. Waino in his career, 200 average, 35 doubles, 10 homers. He's driven in 70.
You know that every year, Adam wants to win a Cy Young. He wants to win a championship. He wants to win a Silver Slugger as well.
Avila will give it a look, and it's out of play.
And as much fun as I have, I love watching the young guns in baseball and all the guys that come up throwing 100 with nasty stuff. Today, for me, this is one of the best pitching pairings you can get. Just 2 guys have been doing it a long time that know how to work their pitches, know themselves so well mechanically, know the opposition.
And the 1-2 pitch missed in. Diamondbacks last year finished 82-80. And they went from first to third in the NL West during the final 31 days of the season. They lost 20 of their last 28, and they're in the hunt again this year. Torey Lovullo was the NL Manager of the Year in 2017, former bench coach to John Farrell in Boston. Mike Hazen is their general manager. He was in Boston at the time that they won a championship with John Farrell. John was stricken with cancer, beat that, and taking over was Torey Lovullo. And a pitch inside and a walk. Lovullo, a former major leaguer with the Detroit Tigers. And he was asked about his biggest managerial influence, and he said Sparky Anderson. Lovullo drafted by the Tigers and then got his first shot late 80s with Detroit. And he said, Sparky told me you have to learn about the player and his family. And he said, I try to call guys by their first name and not their nickname. And he said, it may seem like something small, but it's kind of a personal, you know, you're not just saying a nickname as Wainwright is back in. You're calling them by their first name, and you ask them about their family and not necessarily about baseball. As the Diamondbacks want to take a look at that. I thought that was interesting.
I think it's great. Well, building relationships is huge. We all know baseball, and it's about winning and losing, but through 162 games, and it's spring training, and the hope is that it's postseason. These are relationships. You're around these guys more than you're around your family, and you have to be concerned. There's a lot more that goes on than just 9 innings in someone's life, and I think it means a lot for a manager to dig in and want to build those relationships, ask about families, know about families. And you also know, Dan, when something is just, it's lip service. It's like, oh, how's the fam? Oh, okay, good. No, like really dig in. And Mike Schilt does a lot of those same things. I mean, he truly cares about his guys.
There's a 1-1 to Carpenter, lined into the shift, and the throw gets away and into the Cardinal dugout. Ahmed with his second error in this series, his 7th overall, and he was the Gold Glove winner from last year. And with that throw, it's a 2-base error, so Wainwright winds up at third.
Well, you don't see that happen too often for Ahmed. I mean, he came into this one with the most defensive run saves by shortstops in the game since 15. I mean, he's fantastic over there. This one just a throw that sails on him. And again, so it's happened a couple of times in this series. The Cardinals have been given a couple of gifts. The walk to Adam Wainwright is a gift. Only 15 walks coming into this game for Zach Greinke. I mean, he pounds strikes. Then you get that 2-base error. Make it hurt.
There's Jairo Munoz. It's the 5th error by the Diamondbacks this weekend. Remember, they had 3 last night. They entered this series as Munoz hits a little flare, and that will drop into shallow right. Munoz coming through, and it's 2-0 Cardinals. Last night, after the error by Nick Lamb, it was a double that scored 2 off the bat of Tyler O'Neill. The error here by Ahmed, and the Cardinals make him pay again with a little flare into shallow right. And that scores Adam Wainwright. The Diamondbacks entered this series leading all of baseball in fielding percentage.
It's crazy, and it could turn on a dime. And right here, the Cardinals able to capitalize. This one, infield's drawn in. Doesn't have to do too much to get it over them. That's big. You know runs are going to be hard to come by against Zach Greinke. Have been all year. To be able to cash that one in is huge.
It's a broken bat single by Goldschmidt in the first with 2 outs, and came around to score on the double by Tyler O'Neill. 2-0 St. Louis. We're in the home half of the third, 1 away. The 50th career run batted in for Jairo Munoz. Picked off last night, but back in safely here on this Sunday afternoon. Hits it a ton. Deep left. It is fair and gone. He's done it against his former team. Launched it into the second deck. Home run number 17, Goldschmidt.
the shattered bat single in the first. This time a fastball he wants in, doesn't get there. It ends up middle down. And that's the Paul Goldschmidt that we're talking about right there. That's the guy that can carry you in this second half.
Here's Tyler O'Neill. Breaking pitch, swung on and missed. Coming in, Goldschmidt had been 4 for 23 with 12 strikeouts against Zach Greinke, and today 2 for 2. 0-2 the count on Tyler O'Neill. 4-0 St. Louis. O'Neill got the Cardinals on the board with a double down into the left field corner in the first to score Paul Goldschmidt. You know, that's got to feel good for Paul to do it against his former team.
For sure it does. They've seen a lot of great moments in that Diamondback uniform. We've seen some very good ones so far. A lot more to come.
Not sure that was a fastball, Brad, looking at the replay. Yeah, I think it was a changeup. That tailing, kind of just going right into that wheelhouse.
You don't want to put it right there, that's for sure. A mistake nonetheless. And it goes back to the key of the game, as we talked about off the top, is look, don't miss. When he makes a mistake, you got to be able to jump on it. Paul Goldschmidt does there.
Two and two the count with 1 out and a 4-0 St. Louis lead. And a strikeout of Tyler O'Neill, strikeout number 3 for Greinke. And a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Ooh, break time. I'll check my balance.
Laundry.
That was white.
Sure, it hasn't been often this year where Zach Greinke has given up 4 runs in the first 3 innings. This month alone, he's allowed only 2 earned in 29 2/3 with 35 strikeouts and 1 walk. Wow.
Well, the whole inning starts with the walk of the pitcher. Did come in with 14 consecutive scoreless. I mean, it's things fell apart a little bit quickly. It's a walk, it's an error, it's a bloop hit, and then a blast.
On the previous 5 starts, mentioned it twice in this game, Wainwright had been given 4 runs total in those 5 starts, and he's got 4 today. And Fowler lines a base hit into right past the diving Vargas. So a walk and 3 hits here in this inning. Take a look at our stats with Lowe's. While we have a moment, Dexter Fowler, career with the Cardinals. What he's done as a right fielder and a center fielder. And you got to wonder if there's something to that, playing center field at a normal position for him.
Well, I don't know if there's something to it or not, but the numbers sure tell you that maybe there is. And Dex has been great out in center field as well. Made a really nice play in the gap last night. Had to run a long way to track it down.
And Brad, he's got 5 defensive runs saved as a center fielder, -3 in right, which is a bit surprising as well. 0-1 the count here on Colton Wong. He singled to left and then was picked off. Falls behind, 0-2. We have a big Cardinal fan, by the way, 91-year-old Audrey Bookman from Belleville, Illinois, watching us and going through a tough stretch. And Audrey, know that we're thinking about you today.
Happy birthday, Audrey.
91 years young. Never misses a game. Audrey Bookman from Belleville, Illinois. Pitches by inning, and they're starting to pile up here for Zach Greinke.
Make him work, getting into the bullpen. You're seeing him well right now. Keep elevating that pitch count. And keep piling on. That's something we wanted to see out of the Cardinals.
Little floater out to center, and that drops. Followed from first to third. Wong 2 for 2. Hit them where they ain't.
Well, it's true. And look, another pitch by Zach Greinke. That's not necessarily a terrible pitch. He ties up Colton Wong a little bit, just strong enough to get it out there, serve it into the outfield. We've seen broken bats by Goldschmidt. We've seen Jairo Munoz dump one right over the second baseman. This one here, look, it doesn't matter if they're lasers to the gaps. It just matters you get on base. Cardinals continue to put pressure on Zach Greinke and the Diamondbacks.
Brings in Andrew Kisner, and that's the pitching coach, Mike Butcher. Now, we were talking about Mike Trout. Well, Mike was the pitching coach with the Angels, and he said that Mike Trout loved to play video games. And one of the games was called Clash of Clans. And Mike Trout was playing his son online, and he asked Trout, his son did, he goes, "Why are you winning?" And Trout told him, "Well, you got to buy weapons. You got to buy weapons for this video game." And the next thing that Mike Butcher found was a $1,500 bill on his credit card the next day.
Thanks, Trout.
Yeah, he said, "Thanks a lot, Mike Trout.
Appreciate it.
You can afford it.
You buy my kids some weapons."
Exactly. What are you doing? It's funny.
See what, and that's kind of the funny thing, and I guess it's just, it's a very technologically advanced world that we're in right now. You would just never know that you're maybe playing a random video game against Mike Trout.
And Mike has got the bank account to probably beat you because he can acquire all the weapons.
If that's how it works, if you don't have to just be great at it, if you can just buy stuff, yeah, he's going to win.
Kisner, a ground ball to second. Cardinals will strand a pair, but they pick up 3, and 2 of the 3 coming on one swing. Goldie against Arizona. First home run against the Diamondbacks, number 17. Number 17. And the Cardinals have 7 hits against Zach Greinke. And I guess it was part of the contract, too. When you're the featured speaker on Christian Day at the ballpark, you got a homer.
Well, that makes sense.
What Paul did. So 4-0 lead, and the first pitch taken low and outside by Escobar.
You think we can get him more and more speaking engagements?
Yeah, we need to figure it out. And there's a strike, 1-1. Patricia Johnson at Alton Memorial Hospital, recovering from surgery, never misses a game, and taking us in on this Sunday afternoon, Patricia Johnson. Get back here to the ballpark. There's a ground ball. Colton Wong, first out. No Carson Kelly in the lineup today, Jim Hayes.
No, but he says the best part of facing his old teammates is trying to mess with them, Dan, and get under their skin a little bit. He told me he actually got Dakota Hudson to laugh on the mound yesterday. Carson explained, "I did a power take on a 2-0 pitch, and he threw ball 3. I said, "What's a power take?" He said, "You overpose. You know, I statued him, and he hates that." Kelly said Dakota knew exactly what he's doing and just started laughing on the mound. By the way, Dan, Carson didn't get the Pujols-type ovation from Cardinal fans or even a Descalso-type reception, but he says the fans have been great in his return. He told me many of them were mentioning his younger brother Parker, who's a pitcher in Peoria in the Card system.
Very cool. And it was Matt Wieters behind the plate and not Yadier Molina. I had a couple of fans in San Diego tell me, said, "Man, Dan, those fans in St. Louis, they don't miss anything. I mean, we've got a guy
here from San Diego. And I said, Greg Garcia? Well, yeah. And he got a standing ovation. They do that for everybody. I said, for the most part, Yachty will make sure that those former players are recognized as Walker flies to center, which is a nice touch.
I think it is. And more so, it's just a credit to a fan base that truly pays attention. Don't just come to the ballpark just to, it's not just a social call. They're in. They buy into their players. They buy into the ones that do everything for you and work hard. And certainly Carson Kelly, one of those guys. In fairness to the fans and Carson, look, behind Yachty, didn't get much of a chance to know you. Kept hearing about you year in and year out. And he's getting an opportunity right now with the Diamondbacks, and man, is he running with it.
Well, speaking of San Diego, that's where Adam Jones is from, and his favorite player was Tony Gwynn. He actually had committed to play for Tony at San Diego State before being drafted by the Mariners. And he primarily played shortstop, which a lot of people forget, in the minor leagues, and then transitioned to the outfield in Triple-A in 2006 before coming up to the big leagues. So it wasn't like this was something that happened immediately. It happened late in his minor league career.
Well, when you're a shortstop, though, you're athletic. You could play a bunch of different positions. That's usually a thing you see drafting. We've seen the Cardinals draft a lot of shortstop. Ends up being pitchers or bounce all over the place. But I'd say that transition to the outfield has been just fine for Adam Jones, who's been one of the best outfielders in the game.
Now, you mentioned the fans, and the fans are the lifeblood of any sport. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that watch on television and buy the tickets. As Jones singles up the middle, when he was younger, Adam's mom, Andrea Bradley, made him sign all of his fan mail. No matter what, she made him sit down and sign all of it. So he brings it home in the off season, and his mom sits there and talks to him and says, you are going to sign this. And that's one way you become a very popular player.
Yes, it is. I love that. And raising them right. Somebody cared enough to send you something that likes you. And look, you're going to get in a big stack full of mail. Maybe you'll get somebody that's just a card collector, and maybe they end up trying to sell your baseball card. But in that same stack of mail, you might get a kid who just absolutely loves you, worships the ground that you walk on, and you can make their day, make a big time impact. I think that's really special.
Very cool. Alex Avila at the plate. He was a guy that was catching a ton for the Diamondbacks before the acquisition of Carson Kelly. Now, baseball can be a cruel and tough world, especially when it's your dad who trades you. And that's what happened with Alex Avila. July of 2017, he came from the Tigers to the Cubs, and it was his dad who runs the baseball operations, the GM of the Tigers, that traded away his son. That's Al Avila, who just recently, within the last 10 days, I believe, got an extension from the Tigers, their ownership group. He is the godson, by the way, of Tommy Lasorda. And another guy that Tommy is the godfather of that's had pretty good success, the other catcher, and that's Mike Piazza, who's in the Hall of Fame.
A tiny bit of success there, certainly. I bet that was a fun Thanksgiving after you traded your son. So how are things?
Pass the stuffing. Why? You traded me.
Yeah, matters like you care.
Yeah. He's in his second year with the Diamondbacks and signed with them as a free agent in January. It was his dad that taught him to switch hit. He did that all the way up until college. And then he scrapped that, and that was to make him valuable, because if you can be a left-handed catcher, there is value in that, and his dad knows that better than anybody. Strikes out for the second time, and that's 5 today for Adam Wainwright. We're midway through 4. This date in Cardinals history. See more at Fuse.com in the Summer of Lou. Well, this date, 80th All-Star Game in St. Louis. I ain't getting into politics, but I love seeing those Hall of Famers watching that first pitch.
Stan the Man was here. Brock in red. All the Hall of Famers in the red jackets. And the Cardinals were represented quite well here at the All-Star game, as Ryan Franklin represented St. Louis in that All-Star game. Talked about that being pinnacle of his career, growing up in the Midwest, loving the Cardinals, and then became a closer. As that's tapped foul by Harrison Bader. Albert Pujols was there. Many of the coaches, Tony La Russa. Ryan Franklin that year had a 1.92 ERA and saved 38 games.
Frankie was nasty.
Yes, he was. And Ryan is working in the Cardinals front office, special assistant to John Mozeliak, and there's a drive into right center by Bader, and it's off the wall, played perfectly by Marte, and Bader's sliding into second base with a double, and his second hard hit ball today. Lined out to right, back in the second, and picks up a double.
Well, we've been waiting for Harrison to come alive. You know he needs this. I love seeing him drive the ball the other way. This one's up in the zone, and he just doesn't try to pull it. Just stays on it really well. Good balanced swing. Showing off the speed. You're right, this is played perfectly. The Cardinals able to make Zach Greinke work last inning. 26 pitches, tacked on 3 runs, and good start here.
So now Adam Wainwright, he walked and scored back in the third. He's got a pair of sacrifices this season. Squares, bunt perfect. Greinke, bare hands. Vargas covering. Third sacrifice for the Cardinals starter today, Adam Wainwright. Budweiser Terrace talking about guys that could close games out. Former Cardinal Jason Mott coming to St. Louis. Purchase a theme ticket, receive a Jason Mott bobblehead, buy a VIP theme ticket. You'll also gain access to his pregame autograph session. Tickets at cardinals.com/budbash. That's coming up. And now the infield in for Matt Carpenter. Did not bring the infield in before, and that benefited Munoz as Carpenter hits a fly ball to center. Marte makes the catch, and the throw off line. Bader will score easily, and it's a 5-0 St. Louis lead.
Matt Carpenter just being aggressive. Sees one up in the zone, knows he can get it out to the outfield. Wainwright with a great job getting him over and get him in. That's baseball right there. Get him on, get him over, get him in. That's something that we've been lacking here recently out of the Cardinals offense. I love seeing manufactured runs. Yes, the home runs are great. Love seeing that out of Goldie as well. That's just a good couple of ABs right there.
Here's Jairo Munoz. And speaking of closers and the 0-2 draft, kind of continuing with that theme here this inning. Remember, Greinke 6th overall in 0-2. If you're wondering about the Cardinals pick that year, first round was given to Oakland for signing Jason Isringhausen, and that's a pick that worked out as Izzy is headed to the Cardinals Hall of Fame. From Brighton, Illinois, Jason Isringhausen. That red jacket will be worn in about 5 weeks or so.
That's going to be a lot of cloth. That's a big man, just broad shoulders.
Yep.
Izzy's one of my favorite I ever played with, man. He helped me out so much as a young player, knowing how to go about things, do things the right way. Watching him, the way that he dealt with success. Sometimes, yeah, I mean, sometimes it didn't go well. You know his job. There's no safety net, and he always talks about that. But I loved watching how he'd respond. I learned a lot, and so happy for him. I know how much going into the Cardinal Hall of Fame means to Jason Isringhausen.
His favorite players growing up: Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, and you'd have to think that those two will be prominently mentioned. Ozzie and Willie, and if you grew up in that time frame and period of Cardinals baseball, you always talked about Ozzie and Willie. That's hit out of play. Jason told me something very interesting. He's got family that, I believe it's his sister, that lives down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so he basically had verbally agreed after leaving Oakland, he was a free agent, to sign with the Rangers. And it was a call from Mr. DeWitt. And he said, "We want you. What's it going to take?" And Jason said, and he's in a golf cart getting ready to tee off or something.
Not ready for that conversation.
How about $1 million? Okay, great. You're in.
What?
Little did Mr. DeWitt know,
Jason probably would have paid him to come back home to St. Louis. I'm glad he had an answer, though.
Yeah. Means a lot to him to go into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Munoz hits a fly ball. He was way out in front. LeCastro battling the sun and makes the catch. Goldschmidt left on deck, manufacturing a run, 5-0 against Zach Greinke. Baseball is brought by Barnes Jewish Hospital and Washington University Physicians, national leaders in medicine, and by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright trying to pick up win number 84 at home, which would break the tie for 4th all-time for most wins at home by a Cardinal. Most ever, Bob Gibson, 117. And then after that, it's Jess Haynes, and he's a guy that we don't talk enough about. Bob Forsch on that list, then Wainwright and Bill Doak. But Jess Haynes was and is a Hall of Famer. Played on the first 5 National League pennant winners for St. Louis, and Munoz can't come up with it. And one thing that Wainwright today has in common with Haynes, working quickly. That was one thing that he was known for, even back then when games were fast. But he's a guy that, well, even when I went back, I guess it was a few years ago, and looked at a box score. He was facing the A's, late 20s, early 30s. He pitched a shutout in about 1 hour and 30 minutes. So the game has changed a little bit.
Yeah, you think? That's really cool. And it's great to see Adam Wainwright be able to keep climbing these lists and throw the ball the way that he is this year. He's been so good.
And that pitch taken high by Vargas. Greinke has not come to the on-deck circle yet. That's ruled a base hit for Nick Ahmed. He's at first base. 5-0 Cardinals here in the top of the 5th. Haynes had a no-hitter 3 times. He won 20 games or more. And there's a ground ball. Wong will get the lead man, and the pick by Munoz on a backhand.
Tough play on both sides here. Runner does a good job of staying out of the way. Colton Wong, all his momentum going towards first base, makes the throw to second, and Munoz with a nice pick. Play like that, you know you're not going to be able to make the turn. Munoz turns into a first baseman. I mean, you're just there, you're keeping your foot on the bag and making sure you get the scoop.
So runner at first and keeps the double play in order. And Zach Greinke grounded to second. Up and in for ball 1.
Ball's in the hole. First of all, you got to be aware of the runner. Probably lose it for a second, does Colton Wong, and makes a nice athletic throw. Man, I love watching him play the position.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what he's doing offensively. That side of his game is always there.
Inside again, 2 balls and no strikes. One out, runner at first, and a 2-0. Foul back.
Zach Greinke not messing around. He found himself in a 2-0 count, and he was letting it rip. I think there are a lot of pitchers out there that just be happy to let you go 3-0. Just take full right off the bat. Not Zach.
No, sir. Can swing it. Wainwright would love a ground ball here. He gets it to short. 6-4-3 with Greinke just motoring down the line. I'm not sure how they were able to turn that double play. Pirates coming to town tomorrow night. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. Miles Michaelis, Jack Flaherty, Daniel Ponce de Leon inserted into the rotation. He certainly earned it. And that's a look at your Budweiser What's on Tap. So in the booth we have Emma and Abby Hensley. They are here and helping us out, taking in the ball game. Emma, by the way, is headed to Missouri State. Soccer player going to Missouri State. So congratulations to you, Abby and Emma Hensley. Third inning. The home run hit by Paul Goldschmidt. It had the distance. We knew that. Would it stay fair? It did. A 2-run homer and his first home run against his former team.
Seen so many of those recently. Saw him in the first couple of games where he just gets the head out a little bit too early and the home run is foul. Mike Schilt talked about it. We love the damage. We'd like to be on the fair side.
Hit a mile high out to left, battling the sun. LeCastro, and he makes the catch. And Paul just missed. When you hit one like that, he just missed his second home run. And that was a pitch to drive, too. It's the second time we've seen LeCastro really battle sunshine here at Busch Stadium on this beautiful day in St. Louis. Here's Tyler O'Neill. Got the scoring started for the Cardinals with a double down the left field line with 2 outs. Back in the first to score Goldschmidt all the way from first. This would be pitch number 72 coming up by Zach Greinke. So you're a teammate of Greinke. Of course, you're going to have conversations with teammates. Certainly pitchers always hanging out with each other. Zach is, let's just put it, an interesting guy. What were those conversations like?
Well, I'll just tell you this about Zach Greinke. Don't ever ask him a question that you don't want the answer to, right? And the real answer, not like you. Usually people would, you'll sugarcoat some stuff. Zach doesn't sugarcoat anything. We were joking around in spring one time. He got a base hit off me when he was with the Royals, and it was a slider. He had a line drive into left field. I go, man, hey, how'd you hit that? He's like, your slider's not good. I'm like, oh.
That was it.
Yeah, we're like teammates now and stuff.
Can't say that kind of stuff. So that's funny.
Not that one wasn't good. It's like, no, your slider's not good.
Oh. And that was it. He didn't like deadpan.
No, that was his answer to how he hit it. I asked question, he answered it. I just stopped asking questions, you know.
Right.
Really.
Okay.
No, but I mean that's honestly, it's kind of refreshing when you have somebody that is like that, and he's like that with everything.
They say he's a real student of the game too.
Dude, he digs into the numbers big time. You talk about scouting reports, and a lot of players, it's different for everybody what you can retain, you know, what you want to know. Zach wants to know absolutely everything.
When he was with the Brewers, and apparently he really gets into, he loves like fantasy football, so he plays that competitively, but he loves the major league draft as well. And he kind of fancies himself to go along with what you're saying as a scout. That's pulled foul. So he observed amateur drafts when he was with the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks, and will routinely give his thoughts on potential picks, and he'll watch the video with the front office. So back in 2012, Doug Melvin, who was then the GM of the Brewers, said, well, who would you take? And he didn't know where guys were on the draft board. And he said, I take that guy right there. He's a good player. Corey Seager. And Corey Seager wound up going 10 picks before Milwaukee drafted. But he could just look at the video, looked at a ton of guys, hundreds of guys, and he said, that's the guy, Corey Seager. Go get him.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of the way he approaches pitching, is trying to find, always looking for a competitive advantage.
And a strikeout there of Dexter Fowler, back-to-back Ks, and we played 5. We moved to the 6th inning, and the Cardinals have a 5-run lead.
All right, Scotty, thank you. History nearly there with the Rays. It would have been the first ever combined perfect game. Not the first ever combined no-hitter. We've seen that before, but it would have been the first ever combined perfect game ever in the history of the sport. Good breaking ball, drops in for a strike, and we are underway here in the 6th.
I got to be honest with you, I'm a little bit surprised that that's never happened before.
Me too.
I feel that way oftentimes when a record is set. This game's been going on for so long, and yet we still get an opportunity to see something new.
And the base hit by LeCastro, the top of their lineup, on base for the 2nd time. He's also been hit by a pitch. Cardinals turned a double play off the bat of Greinke in the 5th inning. Only the 4th hit allowed by Adam Wainwright, who has struck out 5. And it brings in Ketel Marte. Marte, a monster season, breakout year. First in multi-hit games and hits in the National League. 4 triples, batting .312. That's in the top 6 of the NL. Total bases, he's 6th. Extra base hits, he's got 46 of those. That's 9th in the league and 9th in slugging percentage. It has been a breakout season.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He showed off that pretty swing a couple of times. Had the home run the other night against Gant. Really quick hands. And these aren't the type of counts you want to be in where you have to come to him with strikes.
Now his dad will come to batting practice, and I love this. He'll sit in the stands, and I've seen him do this before during BP. And if Marte hits home runs in BP, tracks down all the baseballs, and he'll give a fan an autograph from his son or whatever the case may be during batting practice. And he puts those baseballs in plastic bags and brings them back to the Dominican Republic and gives them to kids. And he says, hey, chase your dream like my son did. And by the way, here's a ball that he hit over the wall during BP.
That's cool.
Very
that
cool.
is really special. Again, man, you just don't know what that could mean to, you know, some young kid that gets something like that and says, man, I could do that same thing. I could have an opportunity like that. Of course you can.
Began switch hitting at the age of 16. At that time was not a power hitter. He tried to become more of a versatile player. He's homered in this series. He's got 21 this year. And the 3-2 pitch, runner not going, and it just missed. So a walk, and the first issued by Wainwright.
About as close as you're going to get right here. Gets it where he wants it, just misses. Little bit in, maybe a little bit under.
And Mike Maddox out to visit with Escobar coming up. So you got the heart of the lineup and a 5-run lead here in the 6th inning. And with that, I'm sure the bullpen will get active. And right as we say that, John Brebbia starts to stretch and now just playing catch.
Well, the Cardinals have themselves a little bit of a cushion, but we know how quickly these things can go. Adam right here going to try to get himself a ground ball, get right back into it. And just back to what he was doing before, just commanding counts.
And while we have a moment, quick word from St. Louis Children's Hospital.
Keeping kids in the game for 140 years. St. Louis Children's Hospital, guardians of childhood.
So nobody out, runners at first and second. Escobar looks at a breaking ball and a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Instead, Wainwright steps off.
Well, I think Adam Wainwright's looking at him at second base. A lot of hand signals going on. Thinking that there might be a little relaying of signs here.
How much was that really done?
Relaying?
Yeah.
I think that there's a fair amount, whether it's a little bit of a lean just for a, whether a pitcher's trying to go in or out or you have a tell. It's important to mix them up. In a situation like this, you leave something up, somebody's looking for a breaking ball. I don't think it's everybody. I don't think it's every team necessarily, but a lot of teams dig into it.
And the 0-1 pitch. National League RBI leaders. Bell, will see him tomorrow. How about Josh Bell in the breakout season he's had with 84?
I think they're a lot more fun to watch when they're not against your team, but he hits some mammoth home runs.
Runners at first and second. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Big strikeout there. Number 6 today for Wainwright.
Well, it's Uncle Charlie again. He got his first strikeout of the day on it. Now gets his 6th. That's 3 on the curveball so far. And this thing just starts up, ends in the dirt. The thing is so good. Tight spin. And even in a situation like that, where Escobar probably thinks, all right, well, he's going to come with the curveball here. Hard to lay off.
So 1 out. Let's see if he can't get that double play. Christian Walker, the cleanup hitter. The fly ball lifted to Bader, sets him back, gets in a position to make the throw quickly back into the infield. I know it's something small, but I think it should be pointed out how Bader gets himself in a position to make the throw quickly back into the infield.
Yep.
You don't see that every day.
Well, it just goes back to all of the little things, because the one time that you don't do something like that, and right now he gets behind the baseball, comes right through it and ready to make a throw. The time that you don't do it is the time that somebody's able to take advantage of you, take an extra base. Can't ever get caught slipping. That footwork's important, and Harrison is one of those guys. And honestly, all the Cardinals outfielders do it, but they're out here working early. Willie McGee's got him out there working on stuff. Jim Edmonds has him working on stuff. It's important.
So runners at the corners with 2 down. Fastball taken low and away. Adam Jones 1 for 2, struck out swinging, and a base hit to center field. Two and one. Pitches by inning. Adam Wainwright, his spot 4-way in the Cardinal lineup in the home half of the 6th. Yanked foul.
I think good idea with that pitch, just bad spot. Dangerous to leave it up there. I know this with Kisner behind the plate. He's solid back there, and he's proven it. You can bury that breaking ball, he can smother it for you.
Popped up to the right side. Wong near the line makes the catch. Diamondbacks strand 2. Midway through 6, 5-0. NellyInspired.com/promotions. That's July 15th. From the Lou and I'm Proud. The t-shirt of the month. It's a look at Ballpark Village. And when you see that group around a starter, gets you thinking that might be it for Adam Wainwright.
They still got the arm wrapped up. You might think maybe, but his spot will be coming up soon. They get one guy on.
And a strike 2, Colton Wong. Wong is 2 for 2 today. Single to left, another one to center. It floats in there for a ball. How about that? A high of 93, low of 65.
It's quite a range. And honestly, we haven't even seen the super slow curve that Zach Greinke throws as well. He'll throw that one at like 59, and it just spins in there. And he can throw it for a strike as well. Kind of think about that as a hitter. You never see that. You're used to seeing 90 to 100 miles an hour. You don't see something like that. It's very hard to pull the trigger on 59.
And a ground ball hit into the shift. That's Ahmed, and the first out. Fastball velocity, slowest in baseball. And look at that, Zach Greinke, who, remember, at one point in time was mid to high 90s.
He was. Well, one thing I see on that list, not just velocity, but I see some really good pitchers on that list. And look, you don't have to throw 100. Certainly, you do get away with more if you throw 95 or more. Maybe that one that you missed down the middle gets fouled back. But if you know how to pitch, you can pitch with 88. You can pitch with 89. Especially when you have feel for off speed like everybody on that list.
Down the right field line, and Kisner 0 for 2 today is struck out swinging, grounded to second, 0 for 2, and still in search of that first big league hit.
Well, I tell you what, this is a pretty good guy to get it off of, right? Who was your first major league hit? It was Zach Greinke. It was my 3rd time facing him.
Kisner, by the way, at Memphis, hitting .360 with the 7 home runs, 24 driven in 53 games. Grounds it to short. Ahmed out number 2. Well, Greinke has settled in after the double hit by Harrison Bader. It's now 8 in a row.
I think that you would see a younger pitcher that had an inning like Zach and maybe get a little frustrated. It was some broken bats, some flares, an error, a walk to the pitcher. But he has settled in. Look like Harrison Bader settling in a little bit also. Driving the ball the other way, double last time up.
To me, he has to do that because that pitch there is the one that's gotten Bader a lot this year. Just off the plate, slider, cutter, and he'll pull off that pitch.
Yep. And I think his hands are fast enough to adjust to the fastball in. You got to be so cautious of a way. That's where people want to pitch you. And that's the pitch right there. I mean, it's a nasty breaking ball. This is where Greinke likes to get inside as well. He knows he can get you fishing, but sometimes he sets it up in.
Shift on the left side. No balls, 2 strikes on Bader. 1 for 2 today. Big gap in left center. See, there's the adjustment, and that's the pitch. You know, if he could learn and make that adjustment to either go the other way or not pull off, Harrison Bader becomes a real weapon. That pitch right there, you'd see him swing through a lot.
It's a strong balanced take too, and to your first point, oftentimes you see that kind of front foot and the shoulder leaking out as if in total pull mode. He's been able to stop that.
And looks at a fastball and a strike. 6 today, 6 strikeouts for Greinke. We head to the 7th. BJ's here, difference maker. And Brad, the right-hander, Adam Wainwright.
He has had it going on. Uncle Charlie's been there for him. He's done a great job of working in and out, getting ground balls when he needs them as well. 6 strong, still going, 6 punch outs. And only walked the 1. Adam has looked in control after having 10 days off, getting pushed back on Friday. He looks great today.
On the other side, 90 pitches by Zach Greinke. 22 of 26 first pitch strikes. Set down 9 in a row. And the last 3 innings have only taken 32 pitches. So, again, a guy that can save your bullpen because he can hit. You don't necessarily have to pinch hit for him and extend him an inning if you want.
And it is big. And you knew coming into it that there wasn't going to be generally much there. So they were able to scrape, 5 already off of Greinke. So the fact that he settled in, at least you were able to get to him before he did.
And the first pitch to Alex Avila. Take it for a ball. Lefties have had their ways with Adam Wainwright here in 2019. Came in batting .307, 7 home runs against him. But today they are a combined 0 for 9. That's big.
See, one of the biggest problems Adams had with the lefties is just the fact that he's fallen behind them quite a bit and then had to come back. Does a great job of getting back into the count with a well-located fastball inside to Avila here. Seen some of those same struggles from Dakota Hudson, specifically early in the year, just falling behind.
Avila, we mentioned his dad running the Tigers. Well, his grandfather has had a significant impact in the game as well. Grandpa Ralph founded the Dodgers Dominican Academy. And when you think about Dominican players coming to the big leagues, you first think, at least in my mind, I think Dodgers. Pedro Martinez, Adrian Beltre, all those guys came out of that academy. Some very, very good players.
Pretty good baseball family.
I'd say so. Strikeout number 7 for Adam Wainwright. And 3 of the 7 have been Avila. Nick Ahmed 2 for 2. Curveball drops in for his strike. You know, Adam would love to go to his charitable endeavor, the event tonight, with a win under his belt.
Oh yeah,
7 strong. Makes that a little bit easier, a little bit more fun.
Well, and you said it from the jump today, and you could just tell there was something there with Waino. He was chomping at the bit. He was ready for this one. You know, he wanted to take the ball on Friday. Said the back was feeling better and better, but they didn't want to push it. He's been aggressive today. He's been working fast. He's utilizing all of his pitches, and he desperately wants to finish this one. Finish this one off. Get rid of this inning and win this game.
Cardinals looking ahead to the bottom of the inning will have Wainwright's spot, then Matt Carpenter and Jairo Munoz. Bounced.
You mentioned Greinke being able to, settle down and save the bullpen a little bit. The Cardinals are going to need a lot of that and have been getting it so far from their starters. They're in the middle of starting a run of 17 games in 17 days.
So these innings are going to be important. I mean, they're going to have to not leave a ton of meat for the bullpen. Got to keep those guys fresh.
In the air out to Bader. With the catch, at ball carried.
Third of 6 Goodwill autograph nights, Tuesday, July 16th. That's in Ford Plaza. Current player will sign autographs for fans 15 and under. 2 former Cardinals will sign for fans of all ages. Cardinals.com/promotions. Big happy birthday to Mike Mooney. Mike Mooney, happy birthday. Sorry it's a day late.
It's okay. It's a thought that counts, honestly.
Well, he is my father-in-law. I probably should get that right.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wasn't listening yesterday when you mentioned it, because I distinctly remember.
Thank you.
No problem.
That's why you're a great partner. Here's Vargas. You know, at my rehearsal dinner, you have to make a speech. And I said, Mr. Mooney, I want to thank you for paying for the first of my 3 weddings.
How'd that go?
A lot of deadpans, but he thought it was funny, so that was cool. It was all good. He's the best. I love him.
The chance to speak briefly with Marcell Ozuna, who's on the IL with fractured fingers on his right hand. Marcell told me he hasn't been able to do any strength building work because the fingers are still swollen. He said the doctors told him he has to wait for the swelling to go down. Marcell says there's no timetable for his return, but Dan, he's hoping sometime before the end of the month. That's what he's hoping for.
It'd be nice to get Marcell Ozuna back, huh? I mean, they've been missing him big time.
He's having such a good year at that time as Andrew Chafin takes over, one of 2 lefties out of the pen. And a strike, and we're underway. Home half of the 7th. So Wainwright is out, Greinke is out, and this is Tommy Edman, the pinch hitter. Edman hits it out of play. We were looking forward to the starters, and Adam Wainwright did not disappoint.
No, he didn't. He looked so good, and you could just tell early on it was going to be one of those days. Great feel for the breaking ball. You didn't see, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 pitches where, you know, he missed his location by quite a bit. Man, he was just so locked in.
Hardest ball he threw was 92. Edman pulls it to third. 97 total pitches, 11 of 26 first pitch strikes. That's not great, but yet was able to spot it, keep guys off balance, and has a chance to pick up the win.
See what he does a great job of, and it's been an evolution of this pitch the last couple of years. When he falls behind, he's got that cutter to get himself right back into the count.
Yeah,
it's been big.
Here is Matt Carpenter. So top of the lineup for the Cardinals. Carpenter passed Terry Moore, sole possession, 30th place all time in Cardinals history, now with 514 runs batted in. This is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Terry Moore, part of the Cardinals Hall of Fame. A center fielder. We talked about his great speed. I remember with him going into the Hall of Fame and doing some research on him and talking to Red Schoendienst. He mentioned how fast Terry Moore was in playing center field. And Branch Rickey actually put him. He was asked about his all-time outfield, and he said Terry Moore is my center fielder, undoubtedly.
Wow.
said he had huge hands. That's the other thing that Red talked about. I guess he had a very small glove that he used in center, and they had a nickname for him. They said bear claws for hands. He could get to anything, he'd catch anything, and his hands were enormous.
He'd crush it.
And he'd corral it in. Red said at one point, and I think it's been mentioned on some of the stories written by those historians of the game, but he would grab you on the back of the neck and they'd
take you down.
You'd crumple to your knees, you know. Terry Moore, and so Matt Carpenter just passed him. So much history in this organization, and it seems like every day there's something you can talk about that relates to late 1800s, early 1900s. In this case, Terry Moore, and I know this for certain, he missed a number of years with military service, mid-40s. But he began in 1935 and finished in 48. 2-2 as Carpenter lifts a fly ball out to the left. 2 away, and it brings in Munoz. We'll see how Mike Schill wants to play it, but you know, on his bench right now, he's got Tommy Edman, who's in the game, pinch hitting for Wainwright. You've got Jairo Munoz here. His best position defensively is not at short, and you could have some maybe mixing and matching if Mike wants to go that way, and it looks like that is the direction here of Torey Lovullo, the manager of the Diamondbacks. Zach Godley will be the new pitcher. Some other changes coming up. We'll tell you about that when we by the authority of the court. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Statue of Lou Brock outside the ballpark. Construction behind him. Ballpark Village. Zach Godley, our Chevy, called to the pen. He'll bat 8th, part of a double switch. Leyba comes in, takes over at second base, and will be in the 9th position. And here's Jairo Munoz, hit a soft liner back in the 3rd that scored a run. 1 for 3 today. Greinke giving up 8 hits in this game, with 7 of the 8 coming in the first 3 innings.
Cardinals were aggressive. Certainly got fortunate a couple of times. Broken bat that fall in. A couple that fell over. Munoz one of those. But they got the big hits when they needed them.
We head to the 8th, and it's 5-0. Oh, ball game. Dominic Leone takes over for Adam Wainwright. Wainwright 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he hit a man. And it's our Chevy called to the pen.
Well, Dominic Leone, it's been 8 days since he's been out there. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Dominic Leone. Fastball, slider, curveball. Every once in a while you'll see the changeup, but when Dominic is on his game, lefties are no match. I mean, he gets that in on him. Love to see a little of that here.
So here we go, top of the 8th. Domingo Leyba, part of the double switch. Took over at second base. He is a switch hitter. And the 0-1. Greets Leone with a base hit into right center. Cut off by Bader. And Leyba held to a single. Nice work by Harrison Bader. It's the thing you notice as well about Harrison. Defensively, he doesn't take anything for granted.
No, he doesn't. This one just a fastball. It's 96. It's right down the middle. But Harrison goes and gets it. Knows that Leyba might be taking 2. That's a good job of cutting it off. Now we need a ground ball.
Tim LeCastro, leadoff man in their lineup today, struck out, hit by a pitch and a single. And a strike. Giants with a 4-2 lead in the top of the 7th against Milwaukee. Cubs behind Jose Quintana 7-3, leading Pittsburgh. That's in the bottom of the 6th. Cincinnati tied with the Rockies 4-4. That's it out of play. Nothing in 2. And the 0-2 pitch, Dominic Leone. Just a bit high. Our attendance today, big crowd, 43,439, 43439. The Brown and Crouppen straw hat giveaway.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody that got a straw hat is rocking that thing.
They need it. Hot day here in St. Louis. And the 1-2 up the middle. A flip and safe at first. Leone checking his glove. And Chris Conroy, the Cardinal trainer, on a couple of the steps in the dugout, make sure that didn't catch him. Was it off Leone's glove? It definitely slowed the ball down. I'm just not sure where it hit him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was off of his glove, but slows it down just enough.
Yep, right off the tip of the glove.
A good try by Colton Wong too, trying to just go with the glove flip there. Knew it was going to be quick once Leone slowed that thing down.
So it goes 1-4-6 on the fielder's choice. Now Marte 0 for 2 with a walk this afternoon. Kept in front by Kisner. And at this point, 5-run lead late in the game. You do not want to walk anyone.
You got to make them beat you.
Marte 21 home runs, third most in a season by a Diamondback switch hitter. The other two, Devon White at 22 and Tony Clark 30. Tony Clark now the head of the Players Association. And he walks Marte. 2019 yearbook celebrates 15 years of Yachty Golden Tribute to the iconic Cardinal, featuring a revealing Q&A. Eye-catching photographs, tributes to Tony La Russa and others. Cardinals yearbook on sale now. I would assume you've got to get somebody up and throwing just in case.
Yeah, you don't expect it to, but you always have to be prepared. You can't let something slip away. Here we've seen, you walk a guy there, and Gant's been so good for you. You want to make sure you keep a hold of this thing.
Really good ball game for the Cardinals. Able to jump on Zach Greinke. Adam Wainwright doing his thing. Finally getting some run support also. It's been a struggle his last 5 starts. Hadn't got much help. Gets it today. You want to hang on to it.
So 1 out, runners at first and second. Eduardo Escobar struck out twice and grounded out to second. John Gant starts to throw in the Cardinal bullpen.
1 out, 2 on. First pitch hammered down into the right field corner and foul. Boy, he was sitting on that. Escobar has been one of the best with runners in scoring position in baseball. 338 the average.
They've been hot coming into this one. 991 OPS in the last 16, and you're right. This one not fouled by much and was not fooled. With Escobar, if you're going to go in, you got to go in. I mean, it's in off the plate. The out's going to be away.
And time called. 250 came in at the start of play from this side of the plate. 388 from the right side. Christian Walker on deck. Cardinals got a ground ball in the 5th, turned a 6-4-3 double play to end that inning. You know, to your point of all these games in a row, you would like the fact that if the Cardinals keep a 5-run lead, you would not have to use potentially Carlos Martinez. Another game tomorrow night.
Yes, certainly.
And the 1-1 fouled back again.
Yeah, those are things that when you're doing the day-to-day, if you're just watching a game which might be in 3 days, you're watching who rolls out of the bullpen, you see how they look. But oftentimes you don't look at the backstory of how they got there, how much work has been going, and that's that man's job. Mike Schilt every day, he's got the pulse of his bullpen, knows how they're feeling. Mike Maddox, Brian Eversgerd, the whole team down there. A lot of conversations, but certainly getting out of an inning like this could stop you from having to use some guys.
1-2, check swing, and he got him. First strikeout for Dominic Leone. You know, Brad, it used to be, even when you were playing and I was broadcasting, I'd look down and I'd say, wow, 8 strikeouts in a game for a team.
Look at that. Now it's like, oh man, they only have 8 strikeouts?
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. It's just part of the game.
Good curveball right there by Dominic Leone.
Christian Walker homered in game 1 on Friday night, hitless. He's grounded to first and twice flied to center. Diamondbacks have stranded 5 today, and that's ball 1. Walker hitting above 300, 7th inning or later. 8 of his 18 home runs have come 7th inning or later. One ball, one strike. Good cutter there. Today, game number 91 for St. Louis. Well past the halfway point of this regular season. Cardinals are trying to go to 26-19 at home and improve to a game above 500 overall.
It's time to start rolling. I mean, this schedule, you're playing the Central. It's going to be Pittsburgh coming in for 3, 4 in Cincinnati, 4 in Pittsburgh again. Time to go on a little bit of a tear.
Inside your division, have to win.
Yep.
You have to win at home.
Well, just top to bottom, this division is so tight.
The 1-2 spoiled. Cardinals looking at the bottom of the 8th. We'll have Goldschmidt, O'Neill, and Fowler coming up.
Here's a 1-2. Check swing. Cardinals, if you've just joined us, got a 2-out double in the first inning. Tyler O'Neill. 3 runs in the third, highlighted by the 2-run homer from that man, Paul Goldschmidt. Another run in the fourth against Zach Greinke. He's on the hook right now. Wainwright, magnificent today. 7 innings, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, no runs. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Christian Walker. 2-2.
I think that good slider right here gets him. Just down the way, whether you punch him out or you just catch him out in front.
The 2-2 pitch. He got him. Leone with back-to-back strikeouts, and the threat is over. And the Nissan game, and Paul Goldschmidt with his first home run against the Diamondbacks and first home run against a right-handed pitcher since May 28th.
Ooh, do factor.
And today 2 for 3. And that was a 2-run homer. Godley still in the ball game. He came in with 2 out, nobody on in the 7th, and got the final out. Paul Goldschmidt, the featured speaker after the ball game on the Christian Day program. Mike Schilt will speak. Many of the Cardinals will speak. Adam Wainwright as well. And our colleague Rick Horton heads up the Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in town. There's Brian Eversgerd and Brad Thompson. You can speak to that. Many years with Marty Mason going through those types of conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Going over scouting reports on different players, different tendencies, and you got to know what you got to be ready with coming out of the bullpen. That was one thing that you always learned is be breaking ball ready out of the pen. Get that breaking ball going. Brian Eversgerd does a great job down there with those guys. And look, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the communication. Brian is talking to his guys. Schilte's talking to Brian. Maddox is I mean, everybody wants to make sure they have a pulse on exactly how their guys are doing, how they're feeling every single day. And when they're out there, they're going to be as prepared as possible.
He said breaking ball ready, so you're snapping a bunch off out there?
Well, you know that a hitter, when you come into a game, especially late in the game, close game, they want to see a fastball and they want to see one up in the zone. If you can throw your breaking ball ready, you know, breaking ball first pitch, show that you can throw that thing for a strike, really is able to set the tempo oftentimes.
But you didn't throw many, did you?
Well, because Zach Greinke said it wasn't good.
So you threw that sinker.
Yeah, I would just keep going with the sinker.
There you go.
At some point, you knew the league was going to catch up if you didn't make an adjustment, and here we are, you know, different view.
Well, you're up here, not down there. This is better, right?
Well, my ERA hasn't increased up here.
Exactly. Bank account has. We had to pay you a lot to do this.
Well, apparently, some of that has been lost in the shuffle.
That's funny. So, a lot of room up the middle on the left side for Tyler O'Neill, second baseman near that bag, but don't worry about it. It's a strikeout. O'Neill has a double, but 3 Ks.
Big curveball right here by Godley. A lot of times you think of guys that throw sinker, you hear sinker, slider. And the reason that is such an effective combo is that the sinker is running arm side, so it ends up going, you know, into the right-handed batter's box. Slider would go the other way, so you'd have to guess down the middle. Godley a little bit different. He throws his sinker and throws that big overhand curveball. Been effective for him.
Dexter Fowler, 2 strikeouts and a single to right.
And the 1-0 pitch with 2 outs and nobody on. It's been a very quiet day for Dexter Fowler because no ball has been hit in his direction. Right fielder today. Not one, not a single, not anything.
Well, Adam Wainwright did a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground. Got a bunch of punch outs as well. Look, any day that you can have some outfielders have the day off, that's a good day.
Yeah. 2-2 on Dexter, dealing with the shift. Cardinals have 3 shutouts this year, tied with San Francisco, fewest in the National League. And they'd love to make it a 4th with a 5-0 lead. John Brebbia looks like he'll come in. If he's getting hot, he's coming in.
Yeah, been up a couple times now. He'll be in this ball game and look to slam the door, win the first series of the second half, and keep that going. The Cardinals are going to have to win a lot of ball games at some point.
Fowler with his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
You know, somebody in this division, Dan, is going to catch fire. I mean, at some point it's going to happen, and the Cardinals believe that they have the personnel, they have the group, they have the team to do it. It's time to show it.
You know, the team in the Central since 2015 that has had very good second halves, the Cubs.
They've been huge in the second half, and you look at the Cubs, you look at their roster, and just from a a higher vantage point, this isn't a rooting interest. Look, they're very good, they're very talented, and at some point it's going to get rolling for them.
See if Dexter wants to do a little running. Up by 5, 2 outs here in the 8th inning as Wong hits it to first. Don't worry about it. Walker there steps on the bag, sends us to inning number 9. Baseball on Fox Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, this song gets you pumped up if you're coming in from the bullpen. Wham.
And a little wake me up before you go.
Yeah.
Jitterbug. Man, Brebbia, I'm telling you, I mean, this is up there. This is up there with Mariano Rivera coming into a ball game.
I was just going to say, it's like Enter Sandman.
Yes.
It's Metallica, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, or for John Brebbia, Wham.
Well, it catches the opponents off guard, I'll tell you that. And all I can think of is Zoolander every time I hear the song.
In spring training, Cardinals insider folks were asking players about they had to name, I think it was like in 20 seconds, name their favorite boy bands. And most guys are going, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, this, that, and the other. So then Brebbia sits down. He was maybe 8th or 9th guy to do it, and hadn't heard any of the answers and didn't have time to think about it. They just said, okay, start the clock. That's on a hop. Munoz can't make the play, and a base hit for Adam Jones. And Brebbia started, okay, 20 seconds, start the clock. Your favorite boy bands: Beatles, Metallica, AC/DC.
Those are hardcore boy bands.
Well, they had to remind John it's not really that what they were looking for, and he said, but that's my boy band. That's who I think of.
You can't put me in this little box that you're putting everybody else in. Good luck.
That's right. So he went with other answers. Funny guy.
There's no wrong answer.
He should be left-handed.
Oh, of course he should be left-handed.
And you brought up a good point prior to this 9th inning. When are we going to have the John Brebbia beard giveaway?
It's got to happen.
Yep.
And maybe there could be different variations of it, as we were having the conversation the other night of foods that he has trouble with. I mean, there could be some. Today's a day game. Might be some scrambled egg up in there.
Piece of bacon.
Yeah. As we've talked about, the yogurt is a tad bit of an issue. He loves it, but.
And that's hit out to right. Fowler is there. One away. We had the Steve Klein dirty hat giveaway.
Yes. We had the Scott Spezio soul patch, right?
That's right. I forgot about that one.
That was a good one. I mean, it's getting to be about time.
Probably want to do it later in the season when the beard has come in. He shaved the morning of opening day, and that's the last time that he is shaved. And there's been little clippings maybe to make sure it's looking as stylish as it is, but not the shave.
All right, if you let yours grow out at the beginning of the season, did the same thing, where are you at right now?
Very spotty.
A little patchy?
Yeah. It doesn't look good.
I got nothing. I'll have a catfish mustache and a couple hairs growing out of my neck. I mean, it's not going to be a good look. I don't get so much.
Catfish?
Yeah. Oh,
mustache.
yeah. Definitely look like a catfish. Nothing in the middle.
That surprises me because you have such an older look to you.
I know. That's weird.
So far, we've made fun of the fact that you're, well, just say lacking a tan.
Well, I don't know. We have to make fun of it. It's the new tan. Pale's the new tan.
Okay.
It's coming back.
That's ripped foul by Nick Ahmed, and you seem to always put a positive spin on things, and you've done so again.
Well, that's my life, you know.
It's the new look, the new tan.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Pale should come back as if it's ever left, you know.
What about pasty white?
I mean, that's we like to call that alabaster.
Okay, I can work with that. The 2-1 pitch inside, 3-1. Cardinals turn to double play in the 5th. They'd love one here. Three and 1 the count on Nick Ahmed. And an off-speed pitch taken high, so 2 runners on. Let's turn to our Budweiser player of the game, and it's the starter for St. Louis, Adam Wainwright.
It had to be Waino. He came out here after 10 days off and just filled up the strike zone. Only walked 1, punched out 7. Didn't allow anything. Gets deeper and deeper into the ball game. Again, an important factor as you're in the middle of 17 games in 17 days. And I'm sure that Mike Maddox was happy with the performance that Adam Wainwright was able to roll out today.
Waino 4-2 at home, ERA of 2.68. On the road, 1-5, ERA over 6. Lamb will pinch hit here in the 9th inning for Godley. His line inning in a 3rd, no runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Dyson, Kelly, and Cron on the bench now for the Diamondbacks. Popped up. Carpenter over. Out of room. Arizona has only been shut out twice this year. Entered today tied with Atlanta and San Diego. Only twice those 2 teams have been shut out along with Arizona, and now Cardinals are 2 outs away from doing that.
Talk about San Diego. We got a first-hand look at them recently. That team's going to be good. They have got some superstars.
And a loaded minor league system too. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Carlos Martinez starting to get loose in the St. Louis bullpen. Two and 1 the count on Lamb. And the big home run Friday night, and that was off of Andrew Miller. Doesn't get the call. 3-1. 13 pitches and 4 strikes.
Right now, he's just got to think down. Think down in the zone. Don't worry about a corner. Don't try to spot up, make it perfect. Just down.
Out in front of the plate, and it rolls foul. And it hit Kisner.
Seems like we got ourselves a little cat and mouse back and forth, stepping off, trying to play some mind game plan, trying to get something going. Brebbia trying to get him right here.
He got him. Strikeout for John Brebbia and 10 strikeouts in the Diamondbacks lineup.
I'll tell you what, right here, this slider, 3-2 after he just walked somebody in an off-speed pitch. I mean, it takes some confidence to throw this here, knowing that you're going to have Lamb in swing mode. He has him there. Great pitch, great call.
And it brings in Leyba, part of a double switch in the 7th inning, and he singled to right center off of Dominic Leone in the 8th. 1 for 1 today. Cardinals 1 out away from taking 2 of 3. Pittsburgh in town tomorrow night. We'll be on the air tomorrow. Pregame show at 6:30. Miles Michaelis against Joe Musgrove. Flaherty going in game 2. Daniel Ponce de Leon in game 3. Two strikes on Leyba. This big crowd, those that have stuck around through the heat, will rise. Paid attendance 43,439. And the 0-2 pitch to Domingo Leyba. Fly ball into right center. And that ball will get down. Arizona gets on the board. Leyba to second base. And he reaches with a double on 0-2. There goes the shutout. Of concern, though, the win.
This pitch by John Brebbia throws him a breaking ball. I mean, it is down. It's close to on the ground, but I guess close isn't cutting it when he goes down and gets it. A good piece of hitting right there with 2 strikes.
Second and third. A base hit would bring the walk, the tying run, to the plate. Here's LeCastro, broken bat, slowly hit. Carpenter charging, bare hands, not in time. Run will score, infield hit. And a 2-out rally here by the Diamondbacks to make it 5-2. And Ketel Marte representing the tying run. When we come back, it's going to be a pitching change. things have gotten interesting here in this ninth inning.
Baseball sometimes ain't fair. Had the breaking ball that Leyva ended up serving into the outfield. Got the shattered bat right there of LeCastro. And he looks on as we get the Chevy call to the bullpen. Carlos Martinez coming into the game. Saw him last night. He has been great in the role of closer. And you hope to stay away from this ball game. But here we are. First and third. Marte up.
Marte, 12 of his 21 home runs from this side of the plate. He represents the tying run here in the top of the ninth. Cardinals were one strike away from ending this ball game, so Martinez has to be used. Fielders indifference. Runners now at second and third. Two and 0. Escobar is on deck if Marte can extend the ball game. And one definitely going the Cardinals' way.
Yeah, Marte not happy. Carlos Martinez, the Cardinals catch a little bit of a break. See him just kind of around a couple of pitches. Love to see him get the hand behind it, get on top of it, get that true sink.
Three and one. Walker, Gant, Gallegos, Miller, and Shreve left in the Cardinal pen. 3-1 pitch to Marte. Hit down the left field line and out of play.
Carlos with a good job on that one. We saw a couple of pitches in a row where ball would just sail out of his hand, arm side run. That one with some true sink down in the zone. They got him 3-2. Make that same pitch again.
He threw 15 pitches last night. And again, the Diamondbacks down to their final strike. Can he put him away here? 3-2 pitch. Bases loaded. Third walk for Marte. Two walks in the inning, 3 hits. And now Escobar coming to the plate. We mentioned the gaudy numbers that he has with runners in scoring position. Today, hitless in 4 plate appearances with 3 strikeouts. Escobar from this side of the plate last night, connecting with his 11th home run. Switch hitter, 19 overall, but 11 from that side of the plate.
Well, and that is certainly the danger. If you're going to go in on Escobar, you got to make sure you get it in there. That was a pitch by Dakota Hudson that just kind of leaked back over the middle. It was middle in, but enough for him to get extended. Dangerous guy, certainly, in this situation. I would love to continue to see a goose egg on the right side of that graphic.
With the bases loaded, he is driven in 10, 5 for 8 with a triple. And the first pitch is strike. The 0-1 popped up left side, and again the Diamondbacks will be down to their final strike. 0-2.
The 0-2. And a fly ball out to Bader. This should do it. He's got it, and the Cardinals hold on for a 5-2 win, and they take 2 of 3 against Arizona.
It got a little tighter than everybody was hoping for, but Adam Wainwright did his thing tonight. Carlos comes in, shuts the door. Goldie with the big home run, and the Cardinals, most importantly, a series win to start off this second half.
So the Cardinals are now 46-45, and they're 26-19 at home. A lot to get to. It's the post-game show next. 5-2 the final.